Well, good evening, everybody. It's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Welcome into our remote viewing show tonight. Man, we're going hard on this one, okay? and I promise you guys, this is going to be a wonderful show tonight. We have Arkheim Ra here in the studio, along with his fiancee Kat, and this is. I knew exactly what this target was when I got into it. I didn't know exactly what it was, but Arkheim sent me a set of blind coordinates and about a week ago, and I honed in on what this target is tonight, and I knew this was going to be kind of dangerous, y'all. Y'all thought the moon was dangerous. All right, let's get into this tonight. Say a little prayer for us, y'all. Okay, because this one is well, it's a hot topic right now, and we are talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Actually, I've been hesitant to say his name on my channel, but you know what? I did some digging today. I went through YouTube and I saw there's thousands of channels that are talking about it, and so if they can talk about it, so can we. Okay, so can we, and so we're going to tonight. As a matter of fact, I have remote viewed potentially where he is over in Tel Aviv. Is he alive? I don't know. We're going to find out tonight. It might be in my remote viewing data. Okay. So grab the popcorn. This is one you're going to need the popcorn tonight. Go pour a stiff drink, y'all. And let's get into this. And of course, this is a very serious topic. As a matter of fact, hopefully some arrests are happening in regards to some of these files that have come out. Should have been arrested a long time ago, in my opinion. But however, y'all know what I'm talking about, I hope. Okay. But of course, we're going to talk to Arkheim and Kat as soon as they come up tonight. And there has been an incident that they were involved in. And we're going to hear about that tonight as well, that may pertain to this location in Tel Aviv. Okay. That's in Israel. And so, yeah, I don't even know where this is going tonight, but I got some really good data. And if you guys would like to follow along with all of my data for this show tonight, please go over to my Patreon and you can follow along and just become a member over there. And I do appreciate all of my members on my Patreon. All the raw data is posted there. I have several pages of data. And like I said, I got into this target. I knew there was... I pretty much kind of knew who I was remote viewing. Okay. Let's just put it that way. And we'll get into, we'll talk about most of this publicly tonight. I don't think there's anything that I need to I'm not really into censoring, y'all, but for YouTube purposes, we'll see where it goes. Okay. All right. Well, thank y'all again for being here. If you guys are in the Western North Carolina area this weekend, I will be at the Western North Carolina Comic-Con on Saturday, all day on Saturday. So y'all come out there and see me. I will be giving a presentation on Bigfoot and Dogman and all the cryptids and all my some of my remote viewing targets and all my wild and crazy adventures out in the field. So please come see me at that. We got a huge list of wonderful speakers, authors, and also field researchers like myself are going to be there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be at Western North Carolina University all day on Saturday. I think it's over around 5:30 or 6 at the latest. I will be back here on Saturday for a live show. We have Richard Cox coming on Saturday night. That's my buddy out of North Georgia, and he is a former, well, he's still in law enforcement actually, but I think he was a Georgia State Patrol officer. Okay, and he's had some interesting Bigfoot encounters, pretty terrifying, as a matter of fact. I met him at the Molina Bigfoot Festival, and you guys know him from being in the chat. He might be in the chat tonight. He's been a little under the weather, so hopefully he will be here with us tonight. Not tonight, Saturday night, y'all. Saturday night. Time is but an illusion. Okay, but y'all come see us at that on Saturday. Okay, well, let's get to our show tonight, y'all. Okay. All right. So I know y'all have seen this viral footage of Jeffrey Epstein allegedly in Tel Aviv alive. It's ignited theories that the disgraced financier and trafficker and other things faked his death in 2019. This footage shows a bearded man resembling Epstein walking with two bodyguards. Now, fact checkers have dismissed it as AI generated, but the video continues to circulate all over the internet. Now, is he alive? If so, where exactly is he located? Well, Arkheim sent me a set of blind coordinates. Blind means I don't know what these coordinates are attached to. He sent me a set of 8 numbers, and that's all I got. And I was able to get all of this remote viewing data out of those 8 numbers. That is real remote viewing, y'all. That's what remote viewing really is. Okay, blind targets, and so he sent me. He actually intended those numbers to be. So these numbers actually are an alleged underground bunker in Tel Aviv where Epstein was reportedly located. And we're going to discuss the data and the implications of all of that here. Now, this was something that happened recently. And Arkheim Ra is a starseed who was targeted for a super soldier espionage mind control program in the U.S. public schools Talented and Gifted Program tag. He served at Montauk under Project Phoenix, and he has several alters which engaged with time travel and alternate reality programs in what he believes may have been swap alternate reality. Arkheim's alters also have worked with Nacht Waffen, Mars Defense Force, Solar Warden, Lunar Command, and more. His book, Time and Space Unlimited, exposes the reality of time travel clones, off-world colonies, and the implications that advanced esoteric technologies have for mankind. He exposes a vast interconnected web of occult military agencies with access to portal technology, which he refers to as time corporations, though through the use of clones, consciousness transferal, memory altering, and time travel, these time corporations are able to repeatedly use individuals for service in a variety of different capacities without the victim even knowing. Now, you guys can find Arkheim on his YouTube channel. It's called Disclosure Now with an exclamation point. And also, he is on Instagram and TikTok as well. And he's got some viral videos that are going around right now with his testimony. And so I am super honored and delighted to have Arkheim and his fiancée Kat here with us tonight. So please help me welcome to the show Arkheim and Kat.
Thank you for having us.
Hey y'all. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, this is a dangerous target, and I appreciate you taking on the responsibility of helping me share this information. The reason why I like to do these shows with you is because for people who understand how this all works, I gave you a blind target, and you were able to confirm through your remote viewing that what I saw is based in reality. This remote viewing has been used by the military and for a reason, and it is a way for me to confirm my testimony, in my opinion. So I thank you for helping me with that, because I know that it can be dangerous. I will let Kat explain. She was the one who noticed something strange happen.
Yeah, so I basically this has happened once before where this is a little like TMI for some people, but I got my time of the month recently, and I'm like, I feel like I said to Ark, I'm like, I feel like I got fucked with. I feel like I should probably start tracking that. But I was like, I just finished having my cycle. It feels like only a couple weeks before. And I've had, I've had IUD. I've had my tubes removed. I know what it feels like when somebody's been poking around in there. Like if you have a uterus, you know what I mean, right? You can tell when something's different. And I said to Ark, I'm like, I think we got fucked with again. And then after that, Ark got this memory back of us being in Tel Aviv.
I believe it was Tel Aviv because Epstein and Maxwell were present at moments, and I believe Bibi was there as well, Netanyahu. And I saw those images going around. They're saying that they're AI now. Maybe there's AI versions, but people have been seeing him. It's been on Reddit. People have seen him in Greece. People have seen him in Iceland, apparently. I believe that he's really in the underground world, and he comes up for various reasons. And he's seen places, and he's just untouchable. I mean, I remember that about him. I knew the guy. He still thinks he's untouchable, and maybe in a way he kind of is. I don't think that's going to last forever, but because people are realizing these things, people are sharing how the Ghislaine Maxwell that is in prison right now isn't even the same person. It's not the real Ghislaine Maxwell. It's some sort of body double or actor or
It's
something.
not even a good one. Like the nose is like completely different. Like,
and the whole thing seems to revolve around what happened to us was, of course, them taking a child from us. And this lines up with a lot of this stuff that has to do with, like, it's coming out in the files.
I also had this weird like vision of like Ghislaine with like, I made an art piece based on it. Yeah, I'll show it to you. It's I made a collage.
She made a piece of art based on a vision that she had.
Yeah. She had like deer antlers, or like she had some sort of like deer. See, this is the collage that I made. It's got like, these are her eyes over like monarch butterflies, and then the deer antlers, and then I put the uterus there because what happened. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That reminds me of one of those Rothschild parties.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the birdcage masks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, she's got like a deer. She's got like something going on with like a deer. Yeah.
And
she's the deer woman. We got one of those in cryptozoology. Actually, we have deer people. Yeah. We really do. Yeah, there's something called the deer woman. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Wonder if there's a connection.
Give her a ride home.
Oh man.
It's coming out. She's
driving those submarines.
It's coming out in these file drops that he was doing all this genetic experimentation stuff, and that he was having Mark Tramo, who's a professor at UCLA, that's involved in all the neuroscience involved in the body transfer technology, the consciousness from one body to another, so they can, and these cloning centers and building these cloning centers and things like that. There's different people responsible for different ones. I did a show about a Japanese one of these cloning centers. They call them dream tunnels, which you call nightmare tunnel too, where people wake up and they there's clones of people, and they can do sexual things to people. They can pay, like I was talking about how that's why Stephen Hawking is obsessed with Marilyn Monroe, is because he made a deal with Jeffrey Epstein where he could wake up in an able body in one of these cloning centers, and he was able to like assault her and stuff. And these concepts sound like out of a horror movie, like, and removed from reality, but they're real, and the evidence is starting to come out. It's very obvious by the people that Epstein surrounded himself, the fields of science that they worked in, they all had to do with what accumulates to him building these underground cloning centers where all these crazy things happen, and doing all this genetic experimentation and trying to create a master race. And I think that they believe that my DNA is very valuable for whatever reason, because I can open portals. And I know that she's very powerful as well. Yeah, I can literally open portals, and I literally am to them a portal. And that's why they'll clone me, and they'll use my body. Like, I remember now, I've had memories, and she's witnessed me getting these memories back.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I got the memory of Hillary Clinton. Okay, I'll start from the beginning. I got the memory of waking up in a coffin. I don't know where I am. I'm naked in this coffin, and I hear people around me, and there's some sort of ritual going on or something, and chanting, and they're chanting in Latin, and they're talking about the body of Christ and the spirit of Ra, and they do this ritual to me. They put me on they nail me to a pentagram on the floor, and like rip out my intestines, and do all this stuff. I remember seeing Hillary Clinton there. I remember seeing Maria Abramovic or whatever her name is there. Maeve Musk. And there are others. And this would happen to me, I believe, the same night of every year. I'm praying that it has stopped and that it's not still happening. But this has happened to me. They do it the same day every year. I wake up in a clone body and they do this ritual on me. And I believe it is at the Mother's Darkness Castle in Belgium. Just because I've been there. I remember being there under different circumstances. I remember being there as a guest, more or less. So I know what it looks like and I know what the surroundings look like. So I believe that's where I was. This is where the human cloning stuff for me has been a horror. But I just want people to know that with the stuff going on in all these wars, it doesn't matter whether it's Gaza or anywhere. They use it as a way people get displaced, and they lose track of people, and people are counted as deceased, after catastrophes happen. And it's basically an opportunity for these people to get kids,
Mm-hmm.
and for them to they are doing the Google Chrome farming, which people talk about, and all that stuff. And I've gotten some pretty wild memories back when it comes to that, because I know, Elon Musk posted recently about how the people that are involved in this are groomed to become predators, the children who survive and stuff like that. And I can say that I remember from personal experience that is true. And also there are people that have testified to Jeffrey Epstein being in rituals and being the person being abused, and seeing him being abused in rituals as a younger person. So I don't know if people have seen him getting abused as a child, but I just know. And I also have some memories pertaining to us using him in the Montauk project, and some confirmation to the theory that he's potentially a time traveler. Not only that, do I believe he's a time traveler. He's a time traveler that accidentally ended up in an alternate reality, but then embraced it. When I was wondering, is he Epstein or is he Ball, I'm starting to there's some sort of really intrinsic connection there. I'm trying to figure it out. It's like I said, Kathy O'Brien said how they say they're that creature, and she didn't believe that it was true. And she has her right to believe that. She believes it's their way of intimidating victims. But I believe it's either he literally is just this creature incarnated in a human body, because this is a thing that happens all the time, or he's like channeling Ball, maybe literally having him take over his body, or he's manifesting in a portal, whatever. There's an intrinsic connection. He has a Ball worship thing on his island. And that's the ancient god that demanded child sacrifice, by the way, for people who don't know what that is. It's in the Bible, and everything. Baal is in the Bible, and Baal is like the enemy of Yahweh, the God in the Bible. So that's just some background for that for people. There's actually quite a bit about, if you want to know information about Baal, you can literally crack open the Bible and read a lot and find out a lot about Baal.
You can. And Arkheim, I wanted to rewind just a little bit, because you had mentioned cloning the bodies and things like that. And it has come out, everybody's been paying a lot of attention to the Epstein files that have been released over the past couple of weeks. Like they keep keep introducing more and more to the public. And they did talk about Britney Spears. This is stuff you've been talking about for years. You and I have been friends for a while now.
Yeah.
And we've even spent time at Montauk together up in New York. We've done a lot of work together. Okay. And we're friends. And Kat, we're all friends. Okay. Outside of all this. But they actually can't. Some of these files talk about how Britney Spears has been cloned, and they were actually using her body as a child in nefarious ways. You know, her clone child body, and so this is it. There's proof in the files that's come out.
Yeah, Mark Tremo was messaging Epstein about that, and he was talking about Martin and the gang in the email. Very easy to find this in the files. Look up Mark Tremo on the DOJ website, and you can find this email. Yeah. Yeah, it's proof of everything that I'm saying being real. And you know, I was brought to the island and used in similar ways as a slave. My altar's name is Bartholomew. Now I want to go into something that's going to be a little bit seemingly off topic, but I think it's going to matter in the coming years as the picture gets more and more clear. Because it's kind of a bit of a disjointed testimony, but I want to tell you guys I want to tell the public about a memory, make it historically documented, a memory of the Montauk project that I have of Epstein. Okay. So this is a very much so different than Bartholomew. Because Bartholomew, I was young teenager maybe, I don't know, around that age, right? 8 to, I don't know how long. My memory's kind of blurry. But what was I talking about? Not Bartholomew, but
I think you were going to talk about the incident with Jeffrey and the pew pew.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, no. So I just remember. So we had in an operation involving chrome harvesting.
We call it Google Chrome.
Yeah.
Don't say the other word. It rhymes. Yeah.
Yeah, people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And we were trafficking it as part of Montauk, and it's just a big part of that world. They get you addicted to it. So I was doing it. I remember this about Montauk. I was doing it.
And Arkheim, what are the effects of it? I think I've always wondered myself, like, what are the effects of it? And like,
it brings out
just drinking blood.
If you're like me, it'll bring out your abilities,
like psychic abilities,
your
telekinesis.
Yes, it increases your IQ. Makes you more intelligent. Makes you able to think faster and stuff. But what it does after an amount of time, and this is where the body swapping comes in for these people, it's part of the reason why it's important to them, is it makes your mind deteriorate. And it makes you kind of go crazy. It does that no matter what. That's why these people are so nuts. I mean, in order to even think of doing what you have to do to make the substance, you have to be crazy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't tell everybody what it is when they get you on it, and this is how they compromise assets a lot of the times. And you know, for me at Montauk, they started giving me that stuff when I was like a kid, and they would give it to me in rituals and things like that in different ways. And I remember how it made me very apathetic. I remember how there was a conversation between me and my trauma twin that I had, and I was so off on the chrome. They took our kid away from us when I was born, and she was screaming at me about how we have to find where our kid is and figure out what's going on and get our kid back. It doesn't matter what they do to us. And I'm just like, it's fine. They told me they're taking care of her, and she's just like, the fucking people who tortured us and stuff when we were kids. You think they're taking care of her? And I was just totally out of it. Like, and I just remember it just made me like just no empathy, no caring, not even about myself or anything really. If I was real high on it. And but the thing that I remembered was the memory that I have. And I wish I could go into detail about where we found him. I mean, like I said, I have this kind of inclination and feeling, and it's probably from memories kind of buried a little bit more, that he was from an alternate reality in the future or something like that. He came back and he accidentally ended up in this reality, because that can happen. You can end up in alternate timelines accidentally. He decided to just stay here or some shit. I don't remember for sure, but I just know that he had something weird going on. And, you know, also connected to like the Trump time travel thing and everything else. There's this whole group of people that figured out time travel in different ways, and they kind of all know each other, right? And that's where that all kind of comes into play with a lot of the stuff, is there is time travel stuff going on involved in it. And I remember he was a bit younger, but I think he was, you know, I don't know, I would say he was in like late 30s, early 40s, somewhere around there. And he was in a hotel room somewhere, and I portaled in there, and I had a briefcase, a silver briefcase, like a futuristic one. It was kind of like that, I would say it. And he was in there, and he was all surprised that I showed up. And I was like, why didn't you make the money transfer? And he was like, they're on me. I think they're on me. I was being followed around by some people and stuff like that. I'm like, we know what's going on. We're aware of the situation. We're watching it. When we give you instructions, you follow them. And he's like, yes, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. And I'm like, he's like, I should have done it or whatever. I didn't mean to disobey orders. I was just gonna make the money transfer tomorrow or whatever. And I was like, good, because that's what you have to do. You have to you have to be in Zurich, and you have to make the money transfer by 9 a.m. before 9 a.m. I was like, you want to fucking find out what happens if you don't make the money transfer? I have something else for you. Part of the reason why I'm not just gonna beat the shit out of you right now, this is actually convenient for me, because I'm going to give this to you now, and you get to deliver this for me. I don't have to do it anymore. You can take care of it for me. And he goes, what's in the briefcase? And I, being the shitty fucking fucked up person that I was, I remember that pissing me off. That actually quantifiably, it wasn't me playing show and just trying to intimidate him. He actually pissed me off. And I pulled out my pistol and I hit him in the fucking face with it. And I told him, get on the fucking ground. Get on the ground. I put the pistol in his mouth. And I was like, listen to me, pony. You do your job. You follow orders. You carry things. You're a fucking pony. You don't get to ask what you're carrying. You carry it. You understand, pony? And with the gun in his fucking mouth, he goes, yes, sir. I'm like, good. Now, I don't want to have to fucking talk to you again. I don't want to have to deal with this situation anymore. You do not want to find out what happens if you don't make that money transfer at before 9 a.m. tomorrow. Do you understand? He's like, yes, sir. I fucking left. I went through the portal and I left.
Went through the portal. I mean, Arkheim, is this how things work? Because I feel like it is. Because, you know, I mean, I can attest, because my team is actually, you know, for people who are watching, we probably have a lot of people watching the show who haven't subscribed to my channel yet. Y'all please subscribe. But I am a longtime Bigfoot cryptid field researcher, and my team has actually got some groundbreaking footage of an actual portal out in the field in one of our locations that we researched. We've sent people into it. They disappeared and they came back, and it's a long story. Y'all can go through my videos and go check that out.
So there is evidence, and there's
evidence. That's what I'm saying. There's evidence of portals being out there. We have it on video. Okay. And so what you're saying is I've remote viewed Earth's weaponized natural portals. I've remote viewed a lot of portals and stuff. And I've ended up on the sun. I've ended up all over the planets, all over the place, remote viewing. Now I'm only saying that because this is, you know, I mean, like I said, you and I are friends in real life. We're all friends in real life here. And we've talked about this, and it's just fascinating to me. This is, you know, and plus I also talk about those missing people out of our national parks. Like, where are they going? I believe they are. We got that video at a national park of a portal. Okay. I think that people are being taken through portals. I do. That's my personal opinion. But this
I know that they are. I have memories of I was watching my friend was watching a documentary about those missing kids that disappear at those forests, and I remember seeing those certain kids at Montauk and other places, and I can confirm that they have taken kids for the programs at national parks. And we remote viewed the robot grandma thing in Shasta, which isn't really connected to me. She found that actually, but like yeah, like they take people through portals, and they take me through a portal. They took me through a portal to. I mean, I'm not anywhere near. I'm in Oregon. I'm not anywhere near Tel Aviv or whatever. And by the way, I don't think he's there per se anymore. I think that he's just in the underground world. Like there's a whole underground world. There's underground cities. It's all connected by train. Philip Schneider talked about it like 30 years ago. That's all real. Connected by Magna Leviton train. Yada yada yada. Lifeboat organization says on their website, "Hey, send us $7,000 and maybe you can join our underground society and stuff." And Jeffrey Epstein was on the board of directors for that at one point. They'd all but scrubbed it from the internet, but lots of people have talked about seeing it, and I'm still looking through archive.org trying to find it. But I found all sorts of other stuff where I'm like, this is definitely connected to Epstein, which is part of the whole video that has got over like around 3 million views now. And more from people resharing it and stuff like that. That's what it's all about, is about the Lifeboat Foundation, Teachers in Space, and all that. And it's all connected to figuring out, for instance, Lifeboat, right? Life Touch, which is it does the school pictures. Yeah. And then, so like, this is all these people, like they consider us literally cattle, literally property, and they, like for instance, like something else I'll say that's also kind of disturbing, to kind of give you some background on the way these people think and what they're doing here. I'm from Appleton, Wisconsin. A thing with ton after it. It references a deep underground military base being there. Basically, there's some sort of facility, some sort of subterranean world located underneath the city that is connected to the city, that where they're maybe experimenting on the people or doing something going on there with the people. Okay, so I went to Johnstown Elementary. All right, so this is an elementary school. It's called Ton because it has a deep underground thing underneath it, which is where I got tortured and stuff like that. MK Ultra experimented out and things like that. And also, I believe that it's called John's Ton for a reason, because a John is a person who pays for sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked about how if you are in this secret world, that Appleton is a place that has an underground cloning facility with a bunch of crazy shit going on there, and I'm sure certain people who know about it can pay to go there and do stuff. And I'm sure that school it's connected to all this weird stuff. I did a show recently with a guy by the name of Eddie Mead, who started a podcast and everything about MK Ultra and about being a Montauk survivor. Like a guy I grew up with, like that's from Appleton, that's around the same age as me, that everybody says we look like each other. Like starts a podcast about like this stuff's real. And I just want people to understand that, like, suspend your disbelief for a second. And like, if you're going through these files, like another thing, like there's a little file. I'm sorry if I'm going on a rant. I mean, we can get back into you kind of asking questions and things, but there's a thing in the file of him torturing a girl with a magnifying glass, a little girl. It's in the files. It's a video.
Yeah.
Like, how could they talk about we shouldn't pay attention to that? That's raging for one thing. And also, though, that is them getting her primed for Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
That's them getting primed to extract. And I remember them doing it to me. They would use me for mine. And they can keep you alive and keep doing it to you.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to. But people who aren't valuable to them, like a lot of these people disappearing, that in here, in the United States, there are people disappearing in mass right now. In all the war-torn places in the Middle East right now, and I guarantee you that they're having a field day with Chrome. I guarantee you that there's a lot of harvesting going on right now. And I want that aspect of this to be looked at more, because people think that it's these kids that are able to, like, you hear these rare instances of people like me who survive. I survive because I have DNA that is valuable to them. That's why they like cloning me and stuff like that and doing all this stuff with me, because I can open portals and all that. People who aren't valuable to them don't survive to tell about what happened to them. And they're all over the place, and it's happening every day. I would surmise that thousands of people are disappearing for that purpose every day right now. At least hundreds. I don't know how conservative I'm being there, but there's people disappearing for this purpose. And these people are they're still operating. I mean, it's been exposed that the first person to post about Jeffrey Epstein and the stuff about him unaliving himself in prison was somebody posting on 4chan saying they definitely didn't unalive themselves because they saw a white van show up and all this stuff, and they didn't keep logs and all these things like that. It's like proof. And, with Ghislaine Maxwell, her not looking the same, that's proof. These people are all military operatives. They're running like this blackmail operation that's controlling everybody in the world, and it goes back really deep. I remember doing it at Montauk. I remember running blackmail operations and stuff like that, where we got footage and pictures of people doing heinous things so that we could own them. They call it an insurance policy. I just want people to understand that, like, something needs to be done. We got to maybe take a deep breath, because I feel like so many people are just finding out about this and they don't even know how to react to it. They're kind of shell-shocked. So I understand we might have to take a deep breath, but I mean it wholeheartedly when I say that if we don't respond to the situation that's playing out in front of us right now, the Epstein files, and the actual vast implications of it, if we don't put our big boy pants on, so to speak, and actually really take the gravity situation and the fact of that they were eating babies and abusing them, like, and just these things. If we allow that to continue, that's us giving them consent, and that's actually part of what they believe. They believe that you have to deceive people openly. That's part of their religion.
Well, and plus, if you look at it from a everyday, normie person's point of view, like, I'm not saying we're normies by any means. Okay, nobody listening to this or watching this are normies, as they call it, but we have pretty much been, I don't want to say beaten into submission by the censorship. But we've known about this for a long time, and anyone who's trying to talk about it has gotten their channels taken down. I'm actually shocked at the amount of information that's flowing right now, because when I was always watching Alex Jones and stuff back in the day, okay, and I was getting he was putting out some pretty good disclosure for years, for decades. I was listening to some of the stuff he was putting out, and anyone who tried to even talk about it got censored into oblivion. We lost our channels, we lost our platforms, and so finally, I guess it's time to. I mean, it's flowing finally, and it wasn't.
It makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Why?
Exactly. Yeah. Makes you wonder why. Why now?
Is maybe one of the scary parts.
Yeah. That's right.
Like, are they about to do some crazy shit and pull World War III, and, like, I don't know, I just feel like some sort of, like, event is supposed to happen.
Yeah. Well, I think so. I think so, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think so. In the cryptid community, I'm part of all these different communities, right? Because I'm a field researcher. I'm also in the spiritual, UFOs, cryptids, whatever. I'm out there remote viewing, and we've been anticipating this fake alien invasion for a long time. We've been watching 3 Eye Atlas and all that, and we've been waiting for something big, some kind of deception. We've talked about, as far as the cryptids go, we have a uptick in sightings of werewolves and dogmen and Bigfoot and modern day dinosaurs. All this is going on right now. It's almost as though something's being unleashed. Okay, giant sightings as well, and things like that. And of course, I'm over here working my tail off, remote viewing stuff, blind targets, to try to keep up with all the the flood of information that's coming out, to find out what's real and what's not. And it's hard to decipher what's real and what's not, Arkheim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're dealing with that ourselves.
Yeah, like the people, like like the thing you said, one of the first things we talked about is how, like, they're saying that image of Epstein's AI.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is, there's been people talking about seeing him all over the world. Some have gotten pictures, some haven't. But there's people, well, I shouldn't say all around the world. It's mostly like around Europe area. But or like kind of by the Middle East, like that part of the world more. But like there's like these people that docked on Reddit. They said they had to use Google Translate, and they said that they saw him. They lived in this small fishing village, and he docked there, and he was wearing like a surgical mask, and he had a beard, but it was like him. And like just like, yeah, people have been seeing him, and I believe it. I mean,
well, here's my thing: is like, why would if he's like the most, he's supposed to be dead, but if he's not dead, he's the most wanted man in the world, because a lot of people don't believe he's actually dead. So why on earth would he ever come up to be seen? And if he did, I mean, he's just obviously he's pretty daggum brazen. Okay. And it could be that.
I think that's what it is he just believes that he's
untouchable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But eventually somebody's just gonna
allegedly dead.
Somebody's gonna I don't know. I don't want to say it on YouTube. Somebody's gonna go after him if they see him.
Well, he's on Fortnite, y'all. He's on Fortnite. Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
he's on Fortnite.
On Fortnite.
My son told me to mention that tonight. He had logged on, his username and everything was logged into Fortnite.
Yeah, and many other things. And it's in the files that after he died, there was somebody brokering a meeting between him and somebody else, and he was apparently staying in Colorado. That's in the files. This was in 2024. He had been dead by then, so it's in the files that he's still fucking alive.
Well, I mean, Hitler lived too, right? I mean, that's what we hear. The CIA and everybody had files on Hitler living in Argentina.
Yeah, so these people like,
yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. They have been getting away with it for a long time, and and I think I try to always stay positive. I try to see the positive in everything, and I'm just glad that people are awakening to this. There's a flood and a rush of information right now where people are able to see the truth. And my sister sent me a meme. She said something about how when you find out your crazy sister was right all along about all these crazy conspiracies. And yes, I was right. I hate to say it. I was right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's interesting because people are way more receptive to the information that I share now.
Yeah, well, that's why you blew up. It's like it's the right time. Like, people are hungry for this information.
Right. Yes. Well, somebody's got to do it. And listen, like I said, we've been kind of censored into oblivion for a while, and so it's refreshing to see people like yourself, Arkheim, talking about these topics that a lot of people have tried to talk about in the past, not in depth like you have done, but a lot of people have been censored, like I said, off platforms and all that. And this is, here's the thing too. Like, these targets are blind, and I don't know what these targets are that you give me. And I trust that they're going to be okay. There's a reason that we do this. There's a reason that you give me these targets.
We should start looking at the information, by the way, that you got.
We should. Well, we're going to get into this target, but when we start getting into stuff like that, our lives get really weird. Okay. And I've had a very difficult week this week, very difficult to say the least. Like, the energy has just shifted to like downturn in my life this week. I have to wonder, like, is it because we start tapping into this stuff? It is kind of dark, and so we have to put the utmost energetic protection, the spiritual protection around all of us. Even tonight, while we're airing the show, everyone, we need to keep your vibrations high, and keep your prayers up tonight, because we are talking about some very dark things, and so let's just be aware of it. Don't live in fear, but just we need to be aware of these things. Okay. And so I really do appreciate it, Arkheim. I mean, if we're not doing it, nobody else will do it. So
Yeah.
I guess it's up to us, right? I don't know. I guess it's up to us.
Nobody asked
so
for it.
We're here.
We're
here doing it. Right. Okay. Well, let's get into this target tonight. How about that? Okay. And
Yes.
let's talk about and yes, Jojo, the truth is stranger than fiction, for sure. It is. Thank you for that. That's the truth. Okay. Well, remind the audience, remind me of exactly what this target is. Arkheim.
Basically, it was the underground facility. I say Tel Aviv because I really have a feeling that it was underneath Tel Aviv, because of the people that were there and stuff too. Like, I'm pretty sure Bibi Netanyahu entered. It was there at one point. But I remember for sure Epstein and Maxwell and baby taking. Yeah, just some sort of underground facility where weird baby taking activities and things are occurring that Epstein is involved with. Still alive.
Okay. Yes. Well, let's get into this. Let's get into this data. And if anyone would like to watch to see the full set of data, it's all written out. This is called coordinate remote viewing, and I have been trained for over almost 2 decades in remote viewing, and this is my favorite hobby. Okay, and we're going to get into this data now. I'm gonna go through, kind of explain what I'm experiencing when I'm remote viewing, and kind of convey it to you guys. Okay, so some of my sensory data, this is what I'm sensing now. For people who are not familiar with the remote viewing is used by our military. It's actually been used by our government since at least the Cold War. Back, the Russians were using it, so the Americans were like, we need psychic spies too. And somewhere down the line, I was taught remote viewing by the head of my Bigfoot field research team, along with my entire team. Susan's in the chat. What's up, Susan? Susan's part of my team. And David Pardue's in here. He's one of my teammates. He's not remote viewer, but we've got some of my remote viewing friends in the chat tonight. And they're really good at what they do. Okay, so we're going to go in stages. So this is some of my remote viewing data. The sensory data is stored, hidden, dark, secret, isolated, longevity, trapped, and infinite. Now, infinite is important because I kept getting the infinity symbol when I was remote viewing over and over again, just this infinity symbol over and over. Okay, so my analytic overlay, this is like me trying to make sense of like my sensory data, making sense of my senses. I wrote down, these are some keywords: Boeing, jet, vessels, crime family, Illuminati, underground, cover up, mental magic, Herb and Herbert, gamma radiation, infinity, loopers, and looping. Remember I said I kept getting loopers, looping, like infinity, like something that kept going back and forth over and over again. Topsy-turvy, upside down, illegitimate, trance, and uprooted. All right, and for my sketch, this is my stage 3 drawing. I just drew an infinity symbol. Okay, because I kept getting like something that was looping over and over again. Almost, I don't want to say like reincarnation or something, but that's kind of what I was feeling. Something that was like there's a movie called Loopers, right? And are those like time travelers, Arkheim?
Yeah, they'll call us. They call us that sometimes, loopers. Because there are causalities, time causations, they call them. And it's when future events influence past events. And sometimes they will put into the situation individuals that they call loopers to basically, what's the best way to cause cohesion and to rid friction of the time causality and the retrocausation of the retrocausality effect. For instance, I met a professor of music from Nashville. He is my buddy's neighbor. And he told me that his mom was from the future. His dad was on at a battle during a war, and he was dying next to a tree. And he basically said that like a portal opened up and the ship came out and it started rescuing people who were in the battlefield. And he ended up falling in love with the woman who rescued him, and he had a child with her. And he said that he was the result of that incident. That would be an example of retrocausation, and an event from the future affecting the present and creating a time loop. So sounds to me like the situation with whatever they have going on is a looper type situation where they have caused some sort of retrocausative event that they are now monitoring and controlling and trying to maintain and keep. Because what happens with a lot of these retrocausative events is eventually, a lot of times eventually, usually the timeline will have some pushback to it. The timeline will pull away at the event and try to undo the event and try to make the event not happen if it's very artificial in nature. But oftentimes, one of the really bizarre things about some of these events is if you try to pull at the thread of them and make them not happen, it makes the whole house of cards fall apart, and so many things to fall apart around it that you have to patch up the event and make the event happen again. So it sounds to me like there's some sort of retrocausative event in the future that is tied to this facility, and that they are trying to maintain basically the event horizon and make sure that the event maintains itself and functions as the event that they probably created artificially. They want to basically keep that open. They're trying to keep the time loop open. And that's what they'll do a lot of times too, is we'll keep going. And if they got what they wanted, they'll close the time loop. But if they don't get what they want, then they'll keep the time loop open. And every single time, everyone's like, "All right, we won. We're bringing down the cabal or whatever." Loop back. All of a sudden, you wake up and it's 2012 again, and you don't know why everything feels weird. And you just go to work and reorient yourself back to where you were, like a Star Trek episode or a Twilight Zone episode or something. These things really happen, and that's where a lot of Mandela effects come from. That's where they all come from, every single one of them.
Oh God, I can't stand these Mandela effects, man. They just keep popping up all the time in all of our lives, and yeah, it's perplexing. And okay, well. All right. And of course, all the testimony as well from all these like 20 and back super soldiers as well. You know, we've got all this testimony from a lot of different people that you and I we all know. And it's
Tony,
like they get
Tony Rodriguez,
yeah,
Daryl James
as well.
There's so many people. Joseph Powell, Penny Bradley. I don't got to name everybody in the world, but you know what I mean? There's more people than just me who talk about this.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of testimony, y'all, out there. And
Drago Reed.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, Drago, that's right. Shout out to Drago.
We were on the show one time together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, all right, let's go to the next page. Okay, because some of the last stuff that I wrote on the first page was like a loopers and looping, the upside down, tranced and uprooted. That was the last thing I wrote, and I wrote an infinity symbol. Okay, on my stage 4 data, this is more analytic overlay, more sensory data. I wrote cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. I think that's been happening a lot in this world, and it probably still is. Okay, but I wrote injured. Okay, somebody was injured. I wrote staked out, stakeout, stalker, waiting, watching, and where I felt like I was, I'm going to tell you the truth. Where I felt like I was I wrote grimy. So this is like my environment. Like I looked around and it was grimy, a dirty area, wet and muddy, like it was underground, and it smelled horrible. And then I wrote cage, jail, imprisoned, and kids in cages. Is what I wrote. Kids in cages. I actually wrote kids in cages with a question mark beside it.
I think there's maybe a lot of this that we chose not to remember. Because if you think about it, if we were there long enough to have a child, then that would mean that we were there for like 9 months. And I don't know if they just kept me sedated and they kept her awake or how it all worked, but they took a baby from us. And she is, she wouldn't have eggs, right? Because
and I don't have tubes.
you don't have tubes, so you would have eggs.
So you would have
I don't know the
eggs.
science of that all, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she still has eggs, so they can take her eggs even if she. So yeah, I don't know if they just used a cryo way of making her a child or whatever. But I also have a memory that came back recently of me.
I mean, if they wanted to, they could probably just pop my tubes back in and then pop them out. Who knows?
Yeah, but I saw myself taking a shower and I had cuts all over me and stuff.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's maybe where it was at, but it's dark.
Yeah.
That's really dark, and you know that's probably the part that I'm not seeing and I don't remember, because what I remember is lying down and she was on a bench, I was on a bench, we were naked. The bench was not bench, but like a table of some sort.
Table.
And
table.
it felt cold. The table felt cold on my back. And there are these people and they're around me and they're talking, and they were talking and I don't think they were talking in English. And yeah, I just know that Epstein and Maxwell were there, and yeah, we know those people, and we're involved in this whole thing. It's personal to me with all the stuff that's going on, and it's this information is verifying that I'm not just making this up.
Well, you know what? My thought, as we're talking about this, my thought is alien abductions too. And what we've always, a lot of people have always looked at as alien abductions. You know, I don't like to label things, and I've woken up with ETs in my bedroom at least twice that I can recall. Okay, but I wonder what the percentage is of like these ET abductions is actually, you know. And here's another thing. Before I finish my sentence there, my thought. In this place where I live in the West Georgia area, and there's a place called the Troop Herd Corridor where an author has actually written a book about mass alien abductions with the military involved. And I'm wondering at this point, are these like alien abductions? Are they getting taken into these programs like y'all remember being a part of? Is it more like a secret space program thing or something like an Epstein lab? You know, when people recall waking up and being inside these labs, I mean, what is going on here? Like, what's really going on?
I think that he's simply trying to create a version of humanity that has its abilities back.
Our psychic abilities?
Yeah.
Again, well, you did say the last time you came on the show with me, we talked about the penguin pineal glands, right?
He's trying to bring back like the days of Atlantis, where like we all have abilities and stuff. And that's why
we can do that without all that, can't we? I mean,
we are genetically altered.
Yeah.
So no, we can't. Well, not on the level that I could at Montauk. Like opening portals and stuff like that. Like, nah. Not unless you go through genetic experimentation or you have some sort of crazy spiritual experience, near-death experience maybe. They have blocks and locks up. And they also have the ability to intervene with ancient smiths, basically. And send in people if you do something crazy. And basically take you in and take you back and edit it so that you never figure that out again or whatever. They do. It's just crazy. We live in like, just think about it with this time travel stuff. Like they'll set up your whole life and they'll edit events in your life and they do all this stuff. Like it's like the Truman Show on a whole nother level. Like it's crazy. And I am an anomaly where I feel like I was able to break out of my Truman Show. And it's happening to all these different people. Like they live these ton towns that I was talking about, like where they clone Tyrone type things happening, like a copy of them underneath, and then another version on the surface. It's
Man, it's all this soft disclosure in these movies too, isn't it?
and music videos too, big time.
Mm-hmm.
Like music videos show you, and some of the songs are about the programs. A lot of them. Some of them, a lot of them I wrote.
Britney Spears had a song that was like kind of muffled. Let's just say
three different songs that are about
cloning.
Yeah, about cloning and stuff. Mona Lisa, Break the Ice, and one other one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, okay. Well, I came across something really interesting today because I'm on X. If you guys don't follow me on X, please do. It's Huntress Jessica on X. Okay. And I have a good friend. His name's Dylan Monroe. And Dylan has the deep state mapping project that he works on. He does the Q maps and stuff. If you guys aren't familiar with that, anybody watching, go check out DSMP, Deep State Mapping Project. And he had this interesting picture that he had put up of what it looked like underground in one of Jeffrey Epstein's underground bunkers or something. And I'd already done this target for you, and I didn't know what the target was at the time, but I remember seeing that, and I was like, "Whoa, this looks like a sketch that I drew on this target." And you told me what the target was this afternoon, and I was like, "Okay, well, this all makes sense now." And so I'm going to finish this second page of data. So I wrote cage, jail, imprisoned, kids in cages. That's what I wrote. And then as soon as I wrote the kids in cages, I saw this. Okay, this is the design. Like I was seeing that shape. It's like a cone.
Yeah, like a snow cone.
Kind of like a cone. Kind of like a snow cone, right? Oh. And I wrote funneled, tunnels, and disappear. Funneled, tunnels, disappear. And this is, I had seen this. Let me pull this up. And I'm not saying it looks exactly like this, but it looks like half of this. And this is supposed to be one of Jeffrey Epstein's this is like now I hit up Dylan and I said, "Hey Dylan, did you make that?" Because he makes stuff. He makes a lot of art. Okay. He's, like I said, he makes all those deep state maps and the Q maps and stuff like that. But this is what he had on his Twitter. He said he found this on Twitter. So I don't know who is responsible for this. Full credit to whoever this is. I'm so sorry. I couldn't find who this belonged to originally, but this is what they suspect it looked like down underneath in his facility underneath. I don't know if that was under the island, the one island. I don't know, but it looks very similar to what I drew. Okay.
It was way bigger than that. And it's connected.
It's way bigger.
Connected to a whole world by train. Too. There's a whole world. Down there.
Oh yeah, it goes under the oceans and all that, right?
Yeah, which is why they were trying to buy up ocean area. And she had this company. They had this company called Terramar. Have you ever heard about this yet?
Oh, guess what? It's in my data. Submarines is in my data. Actually.
Yeah. Yes. It's called Terramar, and it was Ghislaine Maxwell. One of the things is she's trying to get people to buy ocean property, which to build basically their own cities in the ocean and stuff like that. And you can look it up and find it on YouTube, Ghislaine Maxwell Terramar, where she talks about this. And yeah, she's a submarine pilot. And I remember seeing his submarine fleet. Like I think I might have talked about this in the last one that I did with you. I'm not sure, but he had a giant yellow submarine. I remember that. And he also had like a smaller, like kind of like the helicopter submarines, I guess I would say. He had one of those, and he had a whole like thing where like he could access like he could take a submarine out of the island.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So do y'all know that this is really wild? Because when Barry Littleton gave me the remote viewing target of the missing persons clusters in our national parks. And those are, like I was telling the audience, they're blind targets. So I'm just given a set of coordinates. And within that data, I was picking up on submarines under our national parks. Now, our national parks are landlocked, most of them. And there's no reason for us. You would think, like, why would a submarine be underneath there?
there's entrances, there's underground water, like lakes and underground
Yeah.
ocean, stuff like that.
Aquifers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
aquifers. And you can, so that's totally viable testimony and information.
Yes. It is. Okay, so let's go into the last page of my data, okay? Because this is really interesting. Speaking of all this, so the last thing that I wrote was funneled tunnels and disappear. On the last page, I wrote searchlight, on edge, rock the boat, and then I picked up on a vessel, and then I wrote submarine, and then I was for my aesthetic. I was in the water, so I wrote underwater in a submarine, and trafficking. I wrote trafficking. So, the way I was feeling, my emotional the way I was feeling was nauseated, sick, and dizzy. I did not want to be here, and it was dark, vast. I felt like I was in the ocean, and I wrote eclipse and swallowed up, and that was the last of my data right there. Eclipse and swallowed up, and I was almost like at the very end, I was kind of feeling like I was getting kind of sick, and so I heard eclipse and swallowed up, and I was thinking of like the moon cycles, like something was being done during the moon cycles.
When was the last eclipse?
I think that we have an eclipse this week, I think, or I don't know. We'll have to look that up. I don't know if it's a lunar eclipse or what. It seems like there's an eclipse, so the audience will know. Let's see if anybody in the chat. I'm sorry, y'all, that my StreamYard is about 5-10 minutes behind, I think, here. So, but anyway, something was being done. And Kat, you had said that this had to do with your ovulation cycles, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it had something to do with that.
Yeah, well, it's just weird. It's like the only time I've ever gotten like 2 periods in 1 month is like when I felt like I've been messed with. So like I don't get 2 periods in 1 month normally. Like,
oh yeah.
So yeah, it probably is connected to moon cycles and all that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, Rose Thistle Artworks, thank you, Rose Thistle, says March 3rd is a blood moon eclipse, I think. Blood moon. What are the odds?
Yeah, that'll be
okay. Yeah, I think, but I wonder if there is a connection to like the moon cycles and their routes and it's very ritualistic no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, they are practicing black magic and dark magic, and they are doing things by the moon, I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 100% what's going on.
Yeah.
That's how these people operate.
Yeah. Man, that's wild. I mean, I literally knew as soon as I got done with this target, I was like, oh man, he had me remote view Epstein Island or something. I was like, because I just knew it. Like it was what the data suggested. And it may not be Epstein, that one island, but it's something similar, potentially wherever he is. I mean, we don't know how many of these islands are. I mean, I've heard testimony from people that said that there are islands like this all over the world.
Yeah, I believe there are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how you did a show with me on Professor Moriarty?
Perfect. Which one was that? Was that under Davenport, or was that another one?
There's Blemmings.
Yeah.
And I believe his facility is in Colorado somewhere.
Yeah.
And he was doing weird genetic experiments and all this weird crap. And just all sorts of weird stuff. And he's on tons of LSD. Which I shouldn't laugh because it makes him nuts. But and it's scary as shit. But yeah, we did a show about that, and then I found out there's this guy, Professor Moreau, which
Dr. Moreau. Well, there's a Dr. Moreau that Jimmy Payne came on my show and talked about how he actually was part of these programs where they have a real Dr. Moreau off the coast of Vietnam on an island where they were doing genetic experiments with animals and human hybrids.
Yeah. That Moriarty guy is doing the same stuff. I figured it was just based on Moriarty and they changed the name a little bit, but I believe there's no reason to believe that there's just one guy doing this weird stuff.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Well, and it was like that. You did give me that target of some kind of underground facility under Davenport, Iowa. Mm-hmm. And I got a huge response from that. I mean, I had people from all over Iowa that were hitting me up. I just did a show last week on a dog man that was allegedly, like, people, we don't know if it was AI or if it was real. I think it was AI, but there's an alleged dog man in somebody's backyard in Iowa. So lots of weird stuff going on out there. And from what I recall, you said that I think Hillary, we all know who Hillary is. She was being cloned at that facility.
Yeah, she talked about it in an interview.
Yeah.
She was made in a garage in Davenport, Iowa.
Yeah, it was underground somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remote viewed it.
Do you want to start wrapping up the show?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think this is pretty fantastic, Arkheim and Kat, and I'm really sorry that you guys have been going through all this. And
yeah, it's been very, like, the past like couple months have been very rough, like very, very rough. Like Ark's experienced some crazy, insane shit ever since we moved into our new spot, which is great. Our new spot is awesome. But yeah,
I feel like it's always been happening to me.
Yeah,
it's always been
it seems like it's been really like ramping up lately, though. I don't know.
Okay, so I mean, it probably will always follow you, maybe. I mean, hopefully not, but you know, there are when you become targeted, you're pretty much always targeted, especially from childhood. And so, like I said, I mean, I've asked the audience to please put some, you know, say some prayers, but some extra protection on all of us. Okay. You guys especially, because it gets dicey. Like in my data, it said it's dicey. Okay. And it really sucks, but I hate to say, like, sometimes I feel like us doing this is like, I mean, I don't know anybody else who's doing this and talking about this, remote viewing these things. I don't know anybody that is. There's a hesitancy behind doing things like this because it can be very dangerous, and your life can get very, very topsy-turvy, which is also in my data.
Next time I give you the target, I'll try to give you something more lighthearted.
Yeah, it's okay. Listen, there's a reason that we're supposed to do this, and if nothing else, to bring you guys some closure, maybe, or just some answers. Maybe you may never get closure, but answers, maybe.
That's part of the reason why I wanted to do it. And then,
yeah,
it's unfortunate to know that there's probably, or we probably got our kid in a cage somewhere right now.
I hope not. You know, I'm happy to know that the files are out. People are waking up, and it's, you guys are trailblazers. Okay. You are 100% trailblazers. And I'm just glad that you're not getting censored like we were, you know, 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And you're able to get this information out there.
I was kind of thinking I probably should like hit up Rob Khalil, the typical skeptic, like, are you on YouTube again? Because I feel like they would just let you talk about anything now. Like, it just seems like,
I think he is on YouTube.
Because
it's
like
2.0.
He's got his channel deleted, I feel like, a couple of times, and so many people have. I feel like now, like, it seems like he can just talk about whatever, and they just don't care. I don't know what's going on.
Oh no. Well, they still care. They still care. We still say words like unaliving and all that stuff. We're like self-censoring, which is dumb. But
it's weird to hear that, like,
so
in
dumb.
real life, like in real life conversations, like with just people walking around the street and saying unalived or raped or, you know. But
it's weird. Well,
sometimes too, like, but I have to stop myself because then I'm like, you sound dumb. Like, you don't have to censor yourself.
It is wild. Like, I'm actually going to be speaking at a public event on Saturday, and the past few public events, you know, conferences and Comic-Cons, all that I speak at, I've found myself feeling very free, wild and free when I don't have to say unalived. When I can talk about people being the M word and stuff.
Yeah.
I have to say the M word on here, but it's just wild. You almost feel like guilty for saying those words now, and that's really it's really terrible. That's like what our world has come to. We've been programmed.
George Carlin would be rolling in his grave, right?
Golly. That's right. Yeah, he would be. I mean, our forefathers would be rolling in their graves right now. And the interesting thing is that our forefathers, the people who created this country, have probably been visited by children from Montauk. Okay, for Arkeem, what kind of messages were sent back, do you think, during Project Pegasus to all these presidents? What do you think?
It wasn't good. I think that would take a whole show to explain.
Not good
One thing that I
messages?
can tell you that this is kind of what it's one thing that I've been wanting to go into, and that this kind of touches that subject is Tartaria is a psyop. Tartaria is simply a country that was in like the Russia area, and people call the whole world that, and it wasn't that. And yes, but there's the thing is it's like every psyop. It's like every single one. There's all this truth in there. There's all this truth, like the free energy and the da 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 and this and that. But a certain group of people came to these lands and took them over. And the story that we are told about what was here before we got here is a lie. And that has to do with the fall of Atlantis and the fall of Lemuria. And, like airships being all over the place for, I think it's like anywhere from 400 to 600 years we've had airships or something like that. I mean, we've relied. You see the buildings that people could build and stuff like that, like the vastly advanced buildings that we can't even build them now. Basically, it doesn't start and end with the pyramids. There's castles in Europe and cathedrals in Europe. We're like, how the heck did they build that? So it's just like, yeah, and I think that a lot of it has to do with, to be honest with you, I think part of what happened was there was a calamity, and there was perhaps I kind of think what happened is there's some sort of calamity where people had to go into hiding because of the ice age, and some of the people that went into hiding lived in caves or lived underground or whatever, and maybe made them go crazy. And then when they came out again, they were like Vikings and they pillaged the whole world. But I think the story is a little bit more complicated than them just being Vikings and them just being some people that went into mountains and went crazy, or caves and went crazy during the ice age from being isolated. I think it's more complicated than that. But sorry, I know that was a long-winded answer, but it has to do with their whole entire history being fake. It's all fake. Like, they're Freemasons. And every single president is a Freemason. Every single president is connected to the same bloodline. They're all related to each other. They're all related. They all have royal blood. They're all connected to the monarchy. The whole idea that we split off, that America isn't connected to the monarchy, is not true. It's a false. It's a delusion. It's an illusion. They're all connected to the same group of people. And one other thing that is a bit of a misnomer. I'm going to try to stop ranting after this, though. And it's a touchy subject, but people always try to say it's the Jews, right? They control the world. It's Jewish people. It's a group of shadowy people that have infiltrated every single religion. That's just one of them. And in my opinion, all the religions that are kind of, in a way, mind control. Take the good with the bad with the good, like you can believe in Jesus and believe in God and believe in all these things and take the wisdom out of it and stuff like that. But I just believe that at the end of the day, these groups have infiltrated every single faith, not just one of them, literally every single one, in order to corrupt them. I mean, there's like swamis and Buddhist philosophers and stuff like that are in the Epstein files. So it doesn't even start and end with the Abrahamic religions. It's all of them. They're all being used as mind control.
That's one of the final words tonight. It's all of them, y'all. Yeah. It's all of them. When it comes
to infiltrated, that doesn't mean that you can't get wisdom from Jesus or Muhammad or whatever, or any of these people, whatever. I don't consider myself a religious scholar, but I've read some religious texts and there's a lot of wisdom in there. But the dark ones believe in infiltrating that, obviously. And so, and I want to remind people that when you start blaming it on one group of people, that's really dangerous. Especially when it's not the correct group of people. And I feel like that's been a thing that they've been doing over and over again throughout history, is finding scapegoats to blame everything on. And it's really a shadowy group of people that are all just a bunch of rich creeps connected to CIA black ops and CIA. Well, not blackmail, really, and ops, and that's what it is. And people are like, is every like the whole world's run by PDF files? Is that like really what it is?
PDF.
And it's
Yes.
like
It feels like it.
Well, they created a system. The CIA did. People, this is what they need to understand: is they created a system where they decided who gets put into power. I don't believe that our votes decide who the president are. Personally, I don't believe that for 1 second. I believe that they allow us to go in and cast our little spell and make us feel like we're doing something, but they decide ultimately who is going to become the president. And the only people that they put into power politically, in the military, or in any position, are people that they know are PDF files, because they have
control,
blackmail on them, so that if they ever do anything, that information can come out.
Yeah. I just have to say, like, all of us here, we're all like working class people, and I assume that a lot of the people watching are too. You better have class solidarity, because the 1% sure do. They look out for their own class interests, and that trumps identity politics, anything else.
It's the fact that we're not like these people with billions of dollars. They're protecting each other. They're protecting PDF files. They're protecting a PDF file ring, and even people that aren't complicit, that weren't engaging in it, are like, well, as long as the money flows, I don't want to talk about it. There are people that maybe they're not necessarily complicit, but they allowed it to happen. There's the Massey, the Thomas Massey. He's talking. They're trying to deflect and say, well, why didn't you care about this before? Why is it getting all pinned on Trump? And he's like, four administrations of this bullshit. He's been repeating that over and over again now. He's making sure that's one of his talking points. This has been Democrats and Republicans working together for 4 administrations now to cover this shit up. So we need to stop pointing fingers at so-and-so. And it doesn't matter. If they're implicated, if they're in the files, they need to go to prison. It doesn't matter whether they wear a blue shirt or a red one.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Like, they're not football teams, guys. This isn't football. This isn't the Olympics. These are human beings and their actual lives in the balance. Children's lives, babies' lives. Like, and
that's true.
Acting like it. The thing that I think about too, I want to end with this. To everybody watching this, there are children in your life, okay, and even very young, are understanding and hearing about this stuff. You have a son, he's hearing about this stuff, he knows about this. They're watching how we all react to this, and they are deciding, is this a safe world? Not only that, I want you to realize that there are a lot of sick men out there. There always have been. You see it all the time. If you see any of this predator poacher and stuff like that, how many people they catch all the time and stuff like that, you know that there are some sick men out there. And think about the men out there. Nobody else is saying out that, who's probably thinking, the disgusting people are like, well, if all these billionaires are doing that, then my behavior is normal. Think about that. Think about the fact that this isn't always billionaires doing this stuff. Sometimes it's people around us in our lives, people that we trust. It's time to start realizing that, like, this is an attempt by them to normalize their behavior and create consent for it. And we need to become more vigilant now than ever. And I want to point out the fact that Britney Spears, at 15 years old, put out Hit Me Baby One More Time, which is a song about rough sex and being hit during sex. And we, as a world, allowed that to happen. We allowed that to happen. And we allowed teenage, like 12-year-olds and stuff like that to buy thongs at the mall and da-da-da-da-da. And now we're surprised. We're surprised that this world exists. We saw her shave her head saying, please help me. These people control everything I do. I'm a slave to them. I don't want to do this anymore. And we let them write tabloids about it and make fun of her. And we bought those tablets and we joined in on the joke. We need to examine what is wrong with our society on a very deep level, because it doesn't start and end with Epstein. We've all been complicit.
Yeah, man. Those are tough words and a pill to swallow right there, but that's true. That's true. We have to listen to the kids are watching.
How are we going to react to this? Are we going to let this go on? These on Twitter, you go back and you find that these actors and actresses and comedians and stuff like that have been joking about PDF.
Pizza. Let's talk about pizza
and all this stuff.
Right.
They've been joking about and literally making actual they're not even like coding with pizza, just actual jokes like about pedophilia. We're seeing companies that make stuff for babies, like using like sexual innuendo. What company is that again?
I can't remember what company it is.
I saw that.
That happened right in front of us.
Yeah.
That we made passes for, and we need to really examine. And when we hear those jokes, like, men watching this, like when you're with your buddies and you hear these jokes and stuff like that. We need to say, hey, dude, don't say that. That's fucked up. These kinds of things. Yeah. That is what normalizes it.
Yeah, because the thing is a lot of men won't listen to the concerns of women and children, but they'll listen to other.
There's this thing called the Court of the Royal Jesters. Gacy was part of it. John Wayne Gacy was part of what they call the Court of the Royal Jesters. And what the Court of the Royal Jesters do is they're an important Masonic order, which has been busted doing child trafficking, exploitation stuff. They've been busted overseas doing it now, and people don't know that John Wayne Gacy was part of the Court of Royal Jesters. But basically, they decide certain people to put in Hollywood, put in movies, put in positions of power, so that they can joke about graping, and doing terrible things, and an attempt to build consent with the public and normalize the things that they're doing. And we've allowed that to go on a level that's absolutely sick.
That's horrible. That's horrible. Well, you know what? A light has to be shined on that, and that's what you're doing. And I appreciate that. We all appreciate it. Arkheim and Kat, thank you so much for being even brave enough to talk about this stuff. It's very difficult to talk about this, especially publicly, a lot of times. And somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. Yeah. Yeah. The line in the sand has been drawn and it has been moved several times. The goalpost keeps getting moved, and we've got to put a stop to it.
Well, you can only push.
It's gone too far.
Yeah.
That's right.
I want to thank everybody for being here and listening. Please buy my book if you're able to. It's on Amazon, Time and Space Unlimited. I got a Patreon, patreon.com/Arkheim Ra. I'm on PayPal if you want to donate me money, paypal.me/Arkheim Ra. There's, you're supporting a survivor, and this is what I do basically full time is try to get this out there. So I really appreciate everybody listening to my testimony, and thank you for being here.
Of course, thank you for being here, y'all. And this is Arkheim's book. You guys, please go to Amazon and pick up a copy of Arkheim's book, Time and Space Unlimited, and also your YouTube channel as well. Arkheim, did you tell the audience about your YouTube channel?
Oh, yeah,
your TikTok, your Instagram?
YouTube. I don't have a TikTok. They're doing all this weird stuff where they're tracking.
No TikTok?
Yeah, I don't have it anymore.
I was obsessed.
Oh, really?
But the second they rolled out those new terms and conditions, I'm like, I'm deleting the app.
I don't really know if Instagram's any better, to be honest with you. It's all they're all terrible. But I'm not on TikTok anymore. I might still have one, but I haven't been doing anything with it. I'd have to check. Yeah. But the one that I did have got deleted. Remember that? I blew up on TikTok too. Remember? And they deleted it really fast. Remember that? So I kind of was like, well, what's the point? That. But for some reason, Instagram's like totally cool with me having 3 million people see my stuff. So I'm on there.
That's where I got my viral video is on Instagram too. I have almost 3 million views as well. I've got like 2.7 or 2.8 million views on one video. I was like, it was crazy. Just of all places, Instagram.
It must just be the right time. Like I said, I hope.
Yeah.
I hope they don't have something planned or something. It's like,
yeah, no.
Let them cook because we're about to end the world.
I know, right? Well, I was thumbing through TikTok last night, and I was seeing that this woman was asking her Alexa. Like, by the way, y'all do not have Alexa in your house. Okay, please don't. Yeah. It's just it's a recording spy device. Okay, but she was asking when is Christmas in Georgia. And it said the next Christmas won't be until December 25th, 2031. And all over the country, it's in 2025. But in Georgia, in Alabama, South Carolina, Mississippi, and it's going to be in 2031 will be the next Christmas. So I don't know what that means, y'all. I don't know what that means. Hopefully nothing crazy is going to happen. Listen, we're striving for a higher timeline. Okay. I'm going to have a Christmas this year. I don't care what timeline I'm on. Okay. But anyways, weird stuff going down in this world, to say the least.
Absolutely.
So
I gotta say, the guy doing all the fart jokes, that's hilarious.
That's Sovereign Cosmic Wild Man. He's all about farts
It's
all the time.
So,
it changes that.
Farts in her.
It's changing the algorithm. Sovereign is changing the algorithm one fart at a time. Okay. That's Sovereign. Yeah. Well, thank y'all so much for being here, Arkheim and Kat. Y'all are a treasure, and I love you guys. And thank you for letting me do that target. As dangerous as they are, we're going to keep on keeping on. Okay. So farts. Farts in a jar.
Stop. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, have a good night. Thanks for having us.
We'll see y'all next time. Okay. Bye, y'all. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Sovereign, they were watching you talk about farts, Sovereign. Okay. You better behave, buddy. All right, y'all. Well, I hope everybody has had a wonderful week, and I want to thank you all so much for being here. And I apologize. All of my StreamYard comments were about 5 minutes behind tonight, and occasionally they would speed up quickly, and then they would just stop. So I wasn't able to do the comments very much tonight, y'all. I had to get my phone out. I was watching the comments from my phone. I couldn't do a whole lot with that, but if we've learned anything tonight, y'all, please protect the children. Okay. And there's a lot of disclosure going on right now. Please don't let it consume you. Okay. Because it's an information overload that's happening right now. And a lot of people are not prepared to take it all in. Okay. And they're going to lash out, I guess. And so just be gentle with yourselves and be gentle with each other, y'all. And thank you guys for being open-minded and being a wonderful audience tonight. I saw you got a little spicy in that chat tonight. I saw that. Thank you to my moderators for being here tonight. I appreciate it because I wasn't able to handle chat at all. My StreamYard was completely clogged up and wasn't moving. But anyways, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please come see me this weekend. If you guys are in Western North Carolina, I will be at the Western North Carolina Comic-Con on Saturday. I'll be back here on Saturday night. I have scheduled my buddy Richard Cox. Yes, that's his real name. I love Richard. He's going to be here. He has a harrowing, even more than just this one, but a harrowing experience with a gigantic, probably a Bigfoot creature up in North Georgia when he was younger. And it is really wild. I was on the edge of my seat when I was hearing him talk about it at the Molina Bigfoot Festival. I think you guys are going to absolutely love it. Okay. So everybody, please have a wonderful night. If you guys would like to see all of my data, Tyler, you going to be there on Saturday? You better be there. Everybody in this chat better be there. Y'all can come see me. I'll give you some Cryptid Huntress merch. Y'all just tell me you watch my shows and I'll give you some merch. I'm going to have some with me. Okay. But I will be back on Saturday night with Richard. And like I said, if you guys want to see the data, please go over to my Patreon and you can become a member over there. I want to thank all my Patreon members, all of my Hunt Club members here on the channel. I owe you guys a video, and I have not put a video up there in a couple weeks. I have been so busy, y'all, but I will get back on that as soon as I get back from this trip this weekend. So everybody have a wonderful night, and I'm sending you guys all my love and light. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and please keep your vibrations high, and don't live in fear, live in awareness. I will see you guys on Saturday. Y'all have a great night. Bye.